Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me and see me?
Yes, hey.
All right, glad to see you here. So I'll keep this short and sharp. For the next 5 minutes, my job is simple, is to set the frame to extract the maximum value for the next 60 minutes. My name is Vas, and I'm a business owner and a longtime friend of Phil's. And I'll be hosting the opening of this masterclass before handing it over to him. Before we begin, I want to be very clear about something. If you're here, you are not a beginner. And this is not an introductory webinar. This is not a surface level motivation. And this certainly is not something you run in the background while doing three other things. This session is built for people who already perform and want to understand why certain people keep moving forward while others stall. So here is the first introduction. If you haven't already, put your phone on silent, not face down. No, I'll check it later. Silent. If you have multiple tabs open, close them. If you're driving, walking, multitasking, or half listening, this is not designed for that. What Phil will share tonight builds on itself. So if you miss the framing early on, the later insights won't land the same way. Next, prepare a pen and a notebook. Not the Notes app, but the actual pen and paper. There is something about physically writing that slows your thinking down just enough so you notice things you normally skip. You don't need to write everything, but when something hits, write it down. Okay, now a few ground rules so expectations are clear. First, this session will be recorded. There is no obligation to turn on your camera or to speak unless you want to. Toward the end, we'll open a brief Q&A session, and you can ask questions by raising your virtual hand or using the chat. Second rule, this is not a pitch-heavy event. The goal tonight is not to convince you of anything. The goal is to expose patterns. Patterns observed firsthand by people operating in rooms most never enter, and the subtle decisions that separate those who advance from those who don't. And the third rule, and this is important, is to listen for what's between the stories. You'll hear experiences and situations from Phil's life, and they're not shared for entertainment. They're shared because they reveal how high-level people think, decide, and signal, and often without saying a single word. Pay attention to what creates tension, curiosity, or resistance in you. That reaction usually points directly to where the growth lives, just outside your comfort zone. And one final thing before I hand this over, for the next hour, listen like this is your private conversation with Phil, not content. All right, so Phil doesn't need much of introduction. Many of you already know his background, and most of you come from his close circle. But tonight, it's not about credentials, it's about proximity, standards, discipline, and decision-making, and how those quietly shape outcomes and why certain people keep getting invited forward. With that being said, I'll pass it over to Phil. Phil, the room is all yours.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing today?
Bravo,
Drop in the comment where you calling from, the city and the country, in the chat. In Bali, we have Lima, Netherlands, Serbia, Utah, Lisbon, Bosnia, India, Palermo, all around the world. Toronto, Bucharest, Ohrid, Zagreb, Tirana. Nice. Glad to see all of you. It's been a minute since I talked with a few of you. Before we start, go on the calendar invite, and over there in the description, you can find a quick 2-minute form. If you haven't finished that one up, do it right now, because it's better now than later, because that later becomes never. In that 2-minute form, you'll see a few questions that will help me help you in the long run. You all saw the pretty much very catchy hook that got everyone, literally everyone, interested. how I was so lucky to get where I'm today, to meet all those interesting people. And tonight I will explain how I put myself in that situation. At the end, we'll have a Q&A. If you have any question, feel free to drop in the chat. And at the end, you can raise your virtual hand and we can go from there. Feel free to mute yourself. And if you want, you can turn on your camera. If not, it's all good. Give me a thumbs up if you're cool with everything so far. And smile. I don't bite. Don't be too serious. It's a New Year's spirit. Great. So we'll start. We have a 60 minutes. After that, if you want to stay a little bit longer, we can do that as well. So you all saw the catchy headline. Can you see my screen that I'm sharing? Drop one in the chat. I can see. You can see the green screen. Perfect. Nice. Get your pen and paper ready. So, how I influence people close to Hormozy's inner circle to fly me around the world in 5-star hotels for 2 months. It wasn't AI that made this up. It was my crazy head. Everything started in June this year, but the whole story goes 4 years before that. And I'll break everything down. Don't worry, I won't bother you to death, but it'll be some interesting moments. It's nothing that you haven't seen or heard already, but I'm going to refresh you and put everything in order so you can start 2026 the best way you possibly can. That's why everyone is pretty much here. So why are you here? So let me speak to you directly. There's a small room and I know everyone here personally, not an audience, not a market segment, but you personally. You didn't come here because you lack intelligence, you lack skill, you lack any of those things. Pretty much you already are on a very good level. You came because something subtle has been bothering you. On paper, things look fine. No one's on the street. Everybody's happy. Life goes on its way. But internally, it feels like you're orbiting on the same altitude for some time. Not failing, not collapsing, just circling. And tonight it's not about motivation. It's not about hype. It's not about pumping you up for a week and then everything stays the same. Nothing along those lines. It's about why certain people keep getting invited forward quietly while others plateau politely. And everything I'll share happened before those 5-star hotels, before I work with Shark Tank people and Inc. 5000 into Comma Club guys. So those were just consequences, not causes. And question for you, we'll be having a few of those. What part of your life feels good enough, but not aligned with your potential? Write down in your notebook. Write down what that could be for you right now. You can play some motivational or some classic music in the background to keep you motivated. So after I spoke with thousands of very, very successful people from investment banking, even some people who work closely with the biggest influencers, royal family, and so on, I came across the same pattern. Why people who are at the top, they always do things pretty much a very similar way. And I came up with this 5 basic pillars that everyone has. So repeated exposure to people operating at top of their fields can teach you a lot of things. So environment, in my opinion, is by far the most important thing. The late Jim Rohn says it's the #1 trait of success. It's not skill, it's not anything else, but environment. I know it really shocked me at the beginning. I thought it was some kind of mistake, but environment is super, super successful. Social intelligence, also super, super high valuable. You need to read between the lines. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So, and we'll go much deeper than that. And also identity. Why true winners, Olympic champions, why they have so much different identity, and of course, much better results. And after that, we go to energy mastery. Why some people can work in their flow mode for 12 hours, 7 days a week, building their businesses and not burn out, yet some people burn out even a few hours a day. What's the biggest difference? Because we're all human, from flesh and blood. So how come some can have so much better results every single day? What are they doing different? And after that, decision making. My good friend of mine taught me that success loves speed, and it's super important one. Just imagine if between today and your ideal goal, only thing between those 2 points on the timeline is 1,000 decisions. So it's not about the time, it's about the decisions that you make. So if you want to succeed the fastest way possible, you just need to do that 1,000 decisions as soon as possible. And everything comes with reps, whether it's a gym, learning a new language, or any other skill. Yet at the end of the day, success is a habit. We'll go through that as well. If you have any questions as of right now, drop it in the chat, but we're just getting started. So first pillar, as I mentioned, environment. Environment beats power every single time. And most people are taught to just push harder, just to hustle, just to work. Of course, when you're young, you can do it for a few months, even a few years. And you should, definitely. But after that, something significantly changes. You cannot reach the new levels with the same way and the same mindset and same habits. World-class people are taught to choose rooms better. I didn't understand this until I helped organize 2 red carpet events where I met so many high net individuals from different branches. And what shocked me wasn't their money alone. Of course, it was impressive. It wasn't their confidence either. It wasn't even their connections. Everybody at that point, you expect from them to have those kind of things. It was their nervous system. And what I mean by that, how they operate, how they feel, how they talk, the energy they carry. They're always calm, unrushed, observant, no scrambling, no proving, no feeling silence. And I realized something deeply uncomfortable. No amount of discipline can compensate for the wrong environment. You can be focused, skilled, driven, and still be capped by the rooms you keep entering. I know, shocking. So question for you. When was the last time you entered a room that forced you to upgrade how you listened, spoke, and carried yourself? Try to remember. You have 60 seconds for that, and then we'll move along. Write it down. Also, for the new people that just came, don't forget to check calendar invite and the quick form over there and fill it out. Okay. We can continue to the next one. Don't worry, you can go back and also go one more time over all of the questions I'll be asking you tonight and reflect on them. Now, the hidden market of opportunities. Here's a rule you were never taught, and me neither until I learned it the hard way. About 80 to even 90% of real opportunities are never posted, never seen. Rolls-Royce, Amazon, Google, Tesla, when they are hiring, right? For top positions. They're transferred through referrals, mainly, through dinners, through someone saying, you should meet this person. That's not unfair. That's just human. And people protect what matters to them, including access. So when someone says, I just need the right opportunity, what they often mean is I'm still outside the rooms where opportunities circulate. Another question for you. Right now, are you applying to opportunities or positioning yourself to be recommended? Write down, what are you currently doing to put yourself in the best spot? And how is it working for you? How satisfied are you? Only a few more pillars, don't worry. Now, second one, identity. What does identity mean to you? It can mean a lot of different things. Now, let me slow this down. Here's a question that changes people, if they let it, of course. Would you want your children to live exactly like you and your parents did? Everyone will say no. Not emotionally, structurally. Same financial stress, same relationship dynamics, same ceiling on what feels normal. And if the answer is no, something important is happening. Your internal identity has already outgrown the story you were given, even if your behavior hasn't fully caught up yet. That tension that you feel, that's not dissatisfaction. That's growth trying to happen. Now, food for thought. Where do you feel ahead of your current identity, but hesitant to fully step into it? Whether it's your personal life, your health, your wealth, your relationships. Try to go even 10 years from now and see where that could be. Write down also in your notebook. After we'll go over through it. Now, that invisible ceiling. Most ceilings aren't enforced by other people. They are just enforced by unquestioned rules. People like us don't do that. That's unrealistic. That's for other types of people, you know. Money's evil. Only thieves have money. World-class individuals aren't rebellious. They simply never absorbed rules that didn't serve them. They questioned them quietly and moved on. So which rules are you still obeying that no longer make sense for the life you're building? What limiting beliefs are there for you? They're just in the way. They're just imaginary handbrake for you. That additional unneeded baggage. What is that for you right now that's holding you back all those times? And you know what it is. Write it down. Because in 2026, it won't be room for it. Now, social intelligence. So let me give you a real example. My best friend once lost a deal with a company that's doing right now over $2 billion in annual revenue. Not for incompetence, not from lack of value, not from pricing, from etiquette alone. A subtle behavior, invisible to most people in the room, completely disqualifying to the insider. There was no feedback, just cutthroat like that. So elite environments don't correct you, they just remove you. So if someone quietly stopped recommending you tomorrow, would you know why? You must have some examples like this in your past. When some relationship just changed. Ask yourself, what can be the reason for that on your end? Now, one of my favorite quotes, reading between the lines, reading what isn't said. You know what they say, only 5% what you say is actually coming from words. 80% is your body language, your tonality, your emotion, your charisma overall. So employees listen to words, leaders and insiders read tone, pacing, restraint. They notice who speaks first, who interrupts, who over-explains, who signals need. And this isn't manipulation, it's awareness. Big, big difference. Question for you. In your world, are you rewarded for being loud or for being precise? Are you the one who reads the room? Or are you trying to qualify it and just respond? Same goes on your day-to-day basis. Are you going through the reels mindlessly like a consumer, or you're actually building something? People have no idea until someone else sees their situation and tells them what it is. Now, signals you're already sending. Your taste is speaking before you do. We're speaking about high level, and the highest level there is nowadays. Art, music, hobbies, dinner conversations, they're not just preferences. They're signals. And by 2026, missing these signals won't be embarrassing. It'll be very, very expensive. And if someone observed your lifestyle for 1 week, what would they assume about your standards? Ask yourself. Maybe you think that doesn't matter. I'm doing my good job anyways. But at the end, everybody wants a great culture. So what is the way how you're dressed, how you talk, where do you go, who do you associate with? What is that telling about you? Your reflection, write what you think. Doesn't matter, don't sugarcoat it. Just do the real truth. And now, maybe this is my favorite quote. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Mr. Dan Pena, one of my mentors, taught me this. So let's remove motivation from this one. Your nervous system calibrates to your 5 closest people. And this works for hundreds of years. Everybody's come to the same conclusion. What they tolerate becomes normal. Iron sharpens iron. You heard it before. So what they pursue becomes plausible, not intellectually, psychologically. Who are the 5 closest people to you that you spend the most time with? What are their goals? What are their habits? What are their actions? Who are their friends? And how does that resonate with you? Do you have the same goal? Are they helping you personally to get to that goal, or they're just in the way? Now, how to pass gatekeepers. I once met a mentor of a woman who charters yachts to some of the Amazon's owners. Not by asking, not by chasing, not by pitching, by being calm, respectful, and non-extractive. So ultra-exclusive networks do not respond to ambition. They respond to composure. You just need to be in the right spot at the right time and to present yourself in the best way possible. And that's the only way pretty much how to get to those people. And now, question for you. When you enter the room, are you trying to impress? Be honest now. Or to belong? Are you trying too hard? Are you trying to present yourself much better than you actually is? Same in sales. Same in business. How many times out of 10 are you trying a little bit too hard and you want the deal more than the other party? Hand on your heart right now and write down, what is that number from 1 to 10? Be honest. Now that quiet power. The most powerful people rarely speak on stages. They're not influencers. They sit behind decision makers. They manage emotions. They run the world. They hold context. And I've befriended people adjacent to extreme wealth ethically, not for secrets, but for pattern recognition. And power always leaves fingerprints. Success leaves clues. And question for you, who around you influences outcomes without ever raising their voice? Who is the most powerful person you know? And ask yourself how I met them. Was it by chance? Was it by luck? And how are they operating? Are they loud? And of course, ask them on what level on a world-class success are they operating? What do you want to take from them? What can you actually learn? When was the last time you called them to ask them for advice, to ask them to mentor you? Ego is the enemy. Don't let ego stand in the way. Even if they're younger, if they have other bad habits, use everything that you have in your proximity in order for you to win. And now those curated rooms, that when billionaire right-hand man attends your events, it's not because they're impressed, it's because the room is safe, curated, and intentional. And one New Year's gathering, connecting all kinds of people that consult presidents, advisors, and founders can permanently alter how you think. And I know because I was invited, I was fortunate enough to be on a few of them. And exposure rewires perception. Question for you. What kind of room would force you to become sharper? Really ask yourself that. You can really choose in which room with what people you really want to be there. That will really force you to grow and become the best version of yourself. Who are people in that room? How are they living lives? What is their opinion about themselves? Do they have an ego? Are they brave? Do they invest in themselves? Do they take other people's opinions? Do they care about who else is talking? And other things. What do you have in common with them? Write it down. And now, I'll share a quick story. Everything that I shared on that additional link in the forum, they're all true snippets from my life that sound very catchy, but they're all true. And I'll share one of them, and that's a road trip to Monte Carlo with my childhood friend, Steve, and that taught me more than years of theory. So experience doesn't motivate you. It just recalibrates your internal scale. So what once felt impossible suddenly feels logical. You can just remember yourself 5 years ago. What was your standard back there? What you thought big money was 5 years ago? And what do you think now? If you're doing right things, it can change 5-fold, 10-fold. And just imagine yourself 5-10 years from now if you're doing the right things. How will the level of success measured then? Where you will be, where your goals, your friends, how would that change? If you're the best one in your village, it means you're in your comfort zone. So how can you push yourself to see what's possible and to raise the bar once more? Ask yourself that always. And now, discipline under pressure. So I've trained with #1 Foreign Legion sniper, fought world champions, workout with powerlifters, and so on. And I actually learned from world champion who fought Islam Makhachev for the guys who know. So they're in far different fields, but they have same principles. Calm execution under pressure beats intensity every single time. So everybody here, including myself, we're too emotional sometimes. Emotions can get the better out of us. Even if you think you're not, chances are there are so many situations while we crack. Is it the traffic? Is it someone else's fault? Is it because someone else is winning more than they should? Or might be something else. But at the end of the day, rational thinking is always the way to go. So, question for you. How do you behave when pressure removes your ability to perform. When the stress kicks in, what are you doing differently? And how are you managing that? Because you're going to burn out eventually if you don't change it. That is the paramount for success, if you ask me. And now energy as a currency. One UFC coach once told me, most people aren't lazy, they're exhausted. World-class people guard energy like capital. Sleep, movement, recovery. Boundaries at the end of the day, super crucial. And this isn't just wellness and basic fitness, it's leverage. If there is no you, then there's no business, there's no life, there's not anything else. Now, question for you. Where are you leaking energy that you've normalized? I do this with all of my one-on-one clients. Just pull up your phone for 20 seconds, go to settings right now, and check your screen time. Write that number. What's your weekly average? And I know before you even started, my friend just came out of the city. I had a busy week. Client came. It was emergency. That's all good. But the weekly average will tell you a lot. If it's over 1 hour, then you have a big problem. A lot of leakage. If it's even a few hours, if you're not making content and making money directly from it, that you can measure also, then something is missing. And the big pharma, the big guys got you. Write it down. Whole minute, how many seconds you have. And that'll be your first New Year's resolution if you're serious about changing things. Now, health as an asset. Very, very catchy. Write down in the chat, why do you think health is an asset for you? Going to the gym, eating a little bit healthy, okay, that's cool. But why do you think it's the biggest difference between wealthy people and regular people? Why all wealthy people go to the best restaurants? Why they have personal chefs? Why they have the most premium fuel? Write down in the chat. Why do you think that's the biggest difference? Why they're doing those supplements, beauty treatments? Write it down. Now that famous burnout. What is a burnout? Drop it in the chat. What is your definition of burnout? It's catchy, ADHD, burnout, stress, adrenaline, cortisol. They're all fancy things. But essentially, at the end of the day, why broke people are mentioning burnout and successful people don't know what that is. What is it actually? What does it stand for? What does it actually represents? Okay. Well, high achievers, they push, and elite people regulate. So sitting all day damages cognition like smoking hundreds of cigarettes. This isn't about feeling good, it's about staying dangerous longer. So burnout is just pretty much doing the things that are very inefficient. You're responding to other people's schedules. You're not prioritizing yourself. And your nervous system is screaming. Have low energy, bad sleep, and is a circle pretty much that you're just running in circles. And you think that some external factor is suddenly going to change that. You must remember when someone says, when I get the money, then I'll change everything. When I get this, when my aunt sends me inheritance, then I'll change it all. Or I thought the same way for years. But that isn't how things are done. Do you know anyone, I mean, literally anyone in the history of the world that said, I'll start Monday, and for Monday, I'll change everything drastically And that's how I want to change things. I don't know anyone that made anything significant in life. And when someone asked him how you got it done, they said, you know what? I just said I'll do it for money. No. There's only now. There's only now. And the sooner you make the decision, even if it's a wrong decision, it's just a stepping stone to the better one. So fail can mean two different things. Forget everything or face everything and rise. That is simple things for that burnout. And it's most in your head. It's how you program yourself and so much more in deep. So we're going to go through that. And now decision making. When I mentioned at the beginning, if you remember, that's also super crucial. And when you have the data, big people have 50%, 50 CEOs, for example, they're just running the numbers, zero emotion, and they're doing things fast. Because if you have 500 employees, if you're taking too long to make a decision, you'll make, first of all, a bad decision, and the whole system will collapse. And a lot of people, of course, including myself, everything I say, you think the time alone will help you make a better decision. But you don't need that much time. If it's your life-changing decision in a week, a month, but everything after that is just wasting your time. So don't ever hide behind the fear, too much rationale, because you can always find a reason why not to do something. Your brain is super good at it because it has only one job to keep you alive. And he'll bring up every single thing that can happen. And 99% of it, it's just imaginary, just in your head. So you need to be good at making decisions. And it's came all from our upbringing. When we were small, from our school days, we didn't want to mess up on our tests because then it's like it's set in stone. It's such a big deal, right? But in life, you should make decisions super fast and then change it and make another one even faster. They're just like riding a car. You cannot just put it in one spot and drive until the rest of your life. It's every corner you shift it a little by little. Same in life. There's always fine tuning. So inside big deals with VC funds, I noticed something, not urgency, no ego, no emotional leakage. The way how they spoke, they were slow. Their decisions were not rushed one bit. So leverage compounds when emotion is absent. You can write this down. And which decisions in your life are being rushed because of discomfort? When someone calls you on your phone, when someone pushes you, when someone asks you something and presents such a big stress, are you taking your time or just respond? Whether it's your family member, partner, or anyone, ask yourself, am I in the flow state? Or is everyone that just stealing my focus whenever they wish? And now that's unfair advantages. Now this is a good one. So they are built on a very, very different mindset. I didn't partner with Karen Harrington from Shark Tank by accident. And those unfair advantages aren't stolen. They're constructed through proximity, trust, and consistency. So question for you is, where could you afford to think in 5-year terms instead of quarters? Are you selling yourself short? Is your imaginary imposter syndrome and limiting beliefs preventing you to speak with the people that are on top of their game in any industry? What's stopping you from actually going to the biggest sharks? Why are you playing it small? Why aren't you 10xing your goals? Why are you waiting for someone else to give you permission? Why is that? Why do you think that someone else should call you first, even though you call them 5 times. Interesting stuff. And now that's psychology. 98% of our behavior is subconscious. Crazy. When you drive the car, when you wash your teeth, when you open up your phone, it's all patterns. And that's why wealthy people don't call back. That's very interesting. If you're speaking with a prospect and they immediately call back, chances are they don't have better things to do. But on the other end, if you send them an email and then respond very fast, then that means they're professional. So that's why wealthy people operate on that way, because everybody wants their attention. Everybody wants to sell them something. So they guard their goal and their vision like nothing. And why visibility matters. Why presence outweighs words. The thing, it's how you do one thing, it's how you do every single thing. So you need to really ask yourself, who am I? Where I'm going? Am I doing the best that I can every single day? And who is running my software, my operating system, my brain? What patterns, what thoughts, what limiting beliefs are instilled that are doing me no service? Who planted that there? How can I change it? Those are the real questions that you should ask yourself every single day. Not just ask, but actually do and change that. And now, silent power. I once helped de-escalate a situation when I was working with a Shark Tank offer. There was one member of the billionaire family that runs the biggest chain of hotels in the world. And how they operate, it's truly remarkable. They also wanted to sue me. It was a year and a half ago. They get a complete meltdown. They didn't know what they're doing. But actually, how my martial arts background really kept me to put my ego on the side, really master my breath, to really think rationally and not to be provoked, even though I was right, and how it really helped me to be professional, and from there to de-escalate situation. Now ask yourself, really, who is in charge in the room? The one who speaks, who threatens, who raises their voice? Or the ones who's asking questions, who has that stare that nothing can be in front of, and who has a different aura, different charisma, different energy that outweighs everything else? Ooh, this is a cool one. Lifestyle design. Drop in the chat, what is your ideal life at the end of 2026? How does that look like differently from now? And also, why haven't you achieved all your goals that you set, that you placed for yourself for this year? What was missing? What would you say? So, sauna conversations with bank owners, cigar lounges, with meta strategies. I had also last year MMA nights besides Miami billionaires, and this isn't luxury. It becomes a new normal. These are all information's channels. So question for you, where do your current environments limit information you receive? When someone says networking, first thing that comes to my mind is some MLM scam in some hotel with some, I don't know, angry grandmas that don't have anything to do. They're just lazy. People at the top, they just put themselves on the best things there are. There is no shortage of great people, of great places. They're just people with a broken mindsets. So that's actually the real networking. The lobby of hotels, gala dinners, charity events, Pilates studios, for someone overpriced, but actually that's the cheapest way in with the true players. Now, history don't repeat themselves, but it actually rhymes. So Roman emperors did understand this. Everything decays over time, except principles. Discipline, honor, restrained vision, timeless inputs create timeless leverage. It's for a reason that we study them in schools. They did something to make the biggest empire there is at the time. And which principles are you willing to live by, regardless of trends? What are your principles? What are your core values? Write it down in your notes. There's nothing new under the sun. All the trends are changing within a year. But what guides you? Why should someone really respect you? Who are you? What do you stand for? Because if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. How would you describe yourself? Write it down. It can be messy, can be scary, but really ask your closest circle, how would they describe you in 4 words? And then see how is that different for the principles and values that you want to portray to the world. We don't have much time, so I'll go through it and then we'll have some Q&A. So the famous line in the sand. Eventually, capable people must choose. They can continue giving power to environments that cap them or draw a line in the sand. Food for thought for end of 2025. What are you tolerating today? Your future self will resent. Is it that cake that you once ate? Is it people that are doing you no favor? Your parents are telling you to cut them, but you're not cutting them? Is it the fact that you're too much on your phone, going late to sleep? What is something that just is piling up? You canceling that gym membership, not reading the book that you promised to. What is it? Write it down for yourself. We all have our demons, and now is the best time to face them. Because if you don't, they're just going to be bigger and bigger. It'll make you very, very big problems. So drop 2 in the chat if any of the things that I just mentioned resonate with you on a deeper level. They really changed how you think about things. That really refreshed your memory because they're all things that we more or less know of. But if you know something and you're not executing it, then you don't know it. Same as they say, if you don't know how to explain something to the 5-year-old, then you don't know it good enough. So if this resonates, it's not random, it's not by chance. It means you already feel the mismatch between who you are and the rooms you're still spending time in. What would change if you trusted that instinct fully? What rooms do you want to be part of? How do you want people to remember you? And how can you get there if you're still playing it small in the same rooms, in the known space? Answer people's question. Be a follower, not a leader. How is all of that playing in your favor, or is it at all? Ask yourself that. What is the most common thing between all the people that you're looking up to? And what are your 3 biggest challenges? 2026 and now. And ask yourself how the great ones, how are they structuring their lives in order to go past them? It will go way, way beyond. As I mentioned, you're some of the 5 people spend the most time with. You're in war. Now it's a war of information. Everybody is fighting for your attention. Attention is the biggest currency nowadays. And you're in a war against companies, corporations, big pharma, governments, and they have insane amount of team members. So if you're playing it alone, if you're by yourself, you're already losing. In one of my lectures, I mentioned Anthony Joshua, the world-class boxer, has over 50 to even 100 people that are his personnel, his team members, any single day. Google, Amazon, Meta, they have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of employees. So ask yourself, who is helping you to go to the next level? You have a VA, are you using AI? You have a personal trainer, dentist, massage therapist, psychologist, coach. Why all the wealthy people are heavily investing in those things? Do you have a driver? Have a security guard? Some of you will say, okay, I'm still young, I really don't need it. Okay, but if you have the need for it, could you afford it? Could you afford the best? And why not? What's stopping you from it? Is it a limiting belief? Is it because you don't see the value? Is it because you're not scaling that hard? Or is it something else? Proximity raises standards. So if 5 people closest to you are disciplined, strategic, and self-respecting, your excuses dissolve naturally. Maybe you heard the saying, birds of feather flock together. Or what is it? So not from pressure, but from example. When you're with people that share the same values, they push you subconsciously. They raise your frequency, your energy. And you really want to compete and put your A game on. So that's why that's the number one key to success. So find a mentor, if not already. Find someone who's 3 or 4 steps ahead of you, who's doing it, living the life that you really want to, and someone who's also on the same journey. So your journey will be much easier and go 100% in it. Because if you are having plan B and C, you set yourself for failure, if you ask me. And now there are a few pillars, there's some knowledge, and we have so many reels, so many books, and all those fancy things. But now if we are not applying it, it's not of much on use. We think we're smart, this is a crazy information. In one day, 2025, only one day, we are consuming more information than a person born 200 years ago had in their whole life. Can you just imagine that? Well, that's it. How crazy that is. And it's doubling in volume every single year. So if the currency is your attention, how are you spending your attention? Do you have the willpower, the habits, the structure, the discipline, really go for your goals? Or is your room that you're in and your friends, family, actually subconsciously, not intentionally, draining that energy from you in order to help you actually think they're going to help themselves by keeping in the same room? Ask yourself that. So everything I shared tonight, environment, the discipline, the health, the psychology, is what made me who am I today. And more importantly, it's what is shaping the man I'm becoming next. So growth is not a destination, it's alignment over time. So who are you becoming if nothing changes 365 days from now? If all things stay the same, where are you going? Who will you meet? Are you satisfied with your whole life? Drop in the chat from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the best there is. You cannot improve it even by 1%. By your health, wealth, relationships, your circle, and everything, where do you stand right now? Be honest. There are no wrong answers here. Let me see what does the chat say. 6, 7. I know that's popular on Instagram, something like this, 6, 7. 4, 1 to 10, that's crazy. 4 is low. 5. No one has the courage to say 7 or 8. I thought I'll see a lot of 9s and 10s. What's missing to be an 8 or a 9? Why are you 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10? You don't have to be, of course, world champion or billionaire to be a 10 out of 10. It's how you are taking the things that are happening as of right now. Others also, you can also vote, if not already. There are so many things that we can improve. Tony Robbins is a great exercise called the wheel of life. It's called the wheel of life. So you can do that after this call. It'll help you to see your situation much better. Mario, nice. I'm glad there's someone who is doing pretty well. And now, if you like what I said, if you don't want to continue giving power to others, if you want proximity, structure, standards that pull you upward, you can see if you're eligible to join a private group of high performer individuals who take their life seriously. There's no pressure. You can DM me, and no chasing, no nothing, just alignment. And the question for you and today would be, what would it cost you not to really bet on yourself 100% and not burn all the boats? When you're 60, 70, would you be okay if you didn't push yourself to the fullest? Would you be okay if you saw all those kids making money, all those people being successful, all those influencers, them not being any smarter than you? They just had the courage to go to the market. They just bet on themselves. You know, my great friend and mentor JD told me once, when it floods, it always comes through the basement. There are so many thinkers, people who are followers, who drop interested in the comments and similar, but very few people who actually produce, put themselves out there, who played big. So ask yourself, with the actions and the lifestyle that you're having as of right now, are you going towards the producers or consumers? Because time flies, as you know. And if you're not doing things correctly now, it's going to be much harder down the road to really straighten and change everything that's holding you back. So instead of a conclusion, I'll leave you with questions. What would change if your environment matched your ambition? What would collapse if your standards rose quietly in your life? Who would you become if your closest people expected more of you? What would then change? God forbid if something really bad happens. Are you ready to take that on yourself and really change and help everyone in your circle? Everything I shared tonight is not theory. It's lived, it's ongoing, and it's available. If you choose to choose it, I'll open the space now for a few questions. And ladies and gentlemen, the floor is yours. Thank you for your time, and your future self will really appreciate it. Just take a few of the things that you wrote down, and in the next week, when everyone else is partying, taking it slow, enjoying life in the moment, you really set the foundation so you can run laps and leave everyone in the dust. Raise your virtual hand if you want, or drop in the chat. So we'll have any of you, if you want, with any questions. Where is the success or any type of anything I shared, or it can be something on the side completely, and then we can have a talk. Okay, Mr. Sean, feel free to unmute.
Hey Philip, how you doing, man?
Doing wonderful. Where are you calling again?
Good. I'm based in Toronto, Canada.
Toronto, nice. How is it? Is it cold over there?
Oh yeah, man. It's a snowstorm over there right now. Well, over here, I should say. I was just shoveling earlier, actually.
Nice. What did you like the most about everything that I shared?
I just loved like the whole presentation, to be honest. I feel like a lot of the questions that you're asking within the slides like are like very what's the word? Like retrospective that are very good questions to think about. I wanted to ask How often do you like usually ask yourself those kinds of questions when it comes to just always trying to like level up?
Definitely end of year. Everybody's been doing that in all those 5-figure masterminds that I know of. So end of year, it takes about 2 hours to go have the whole retrospection, the whole reflections. If any of you know would want, I can share. I have a lot of materials on it. That's definitely end of year, and then you can do it quarterly, every 3-4 months. Depends if you're going to the right direction that you want or not. And answer is always do the simple things, simplicity scales, fancy fails. If you're not getting to your goals on the pace that you want, it's usually two things. You're doing much more things. You have so many things on your plate. People much, want to do 10 things at once, which is no bueno. So just cut the things that are not serving you at this moment and focus on one thing, and then go to the next one. Is that answering your question?
Yeah, man, that's very like insightful. And I think it's super important to be asking yourself these questions on like, those quarterly bases or even yearly, just so you can kind of broadly see if you've been moving in the right direction or not. Because it's so easy, like day to day, to get lost in the sauce or even just get caught up. So I feel like having those questions and like just always coming back to them kind of keeps you aligned when it comes to like achieving whatever it is with your goals.
Do you have any other questions? Since you're here, feel free. Literally everything or anything.
I'll open it up to everyone if anyone else wants to jump on board.
I'll come back to you. I'll put you on a spot for a little bit, so don't worry. I'll drop a
Okay.
link here in the chat if someone wants to explore more about the things that I shared. And also don't forget, if you join a little bit later, the link on a 2-minute quick form. You also have it at the bottom of this doc. You need to fill it out so I'll know what is the next topic that you want to cover. And also at the bottom, you have, I think, 67 or something like that snippets, the coolest stories from my life. And everybody's asking me about that. It sounds catchy and you can learn a lot from it. Definitely. I did. Mr. Daniel, you're next. Feel free. And the rest, raise your hand.
What's up, Mr. Philip? It's good to see you, brother. It's been probably a year since we last met. It is also good to
More.
see some guys that I have role played in the past and have been instrumental in my journey for making money in this space. This presentation has been very refreshing. Sometimes you continue with the daily, day-to-day activities and you forget what's important. So this is very refreshing and thank you for that. I wanted you to expand more on how to position yourself for recommendations.
Oh, that's a good thing. That's the best thing. I would say the fastest way would definitely be to invest in yourself. You are now in Medellin, right?
Correct.
And I think I know maybe 50 people there. They're doing pretty over 6 figures, all of them. And I'm not even from the city. And I'll also share one quick story and then I'll answer your question in more in depth. When people were flying me around in Istanbul and Frankfurt and all those cities that I mentioned, and this August, from my inner circle, arranged dinner in the best restaurant for 15 people, even when I wasn't there, with few texts. So that's something that I really do enjoy. And how to get there, fastest way would be, just like I mentioned, to find the circle of people, whether it's a country club, paddle group, some spa, cigar lounge, charity events. Joel from your city that we both know, he made some kind of round table for business owners.
Yeah, nomadic network.
Some kind of conferences, coffee shops, premium one, the best one, best gym. Find what's the most expensive gym in your area that's 4 times more expensive than the regular one, and then you'll meet very important people over there. The best restaurants, birthday parties, they are great. Don't just, a lot of people that just drink and then just, eat and that's it. They sit in the same circle that they know for years in their safe zone. So this is a challenge for everyone. Next time when you're on some social gathering, is it a wedding? Is it, I don't know, someone celebrating birth of their child or something similar, don't speak with the people that you know. Speak just 5-10 minutes first, and then just speak with everyone else. That'll push you out of your comfort zone. So that's by far the best thing ever. And my secret tip, this is, it will sound very, very, very crazy. Even ChatGPT couldn't make this up. The best networking that I found in my life, I mean, by accident, the best people that I met. If someone can guess, type it in the chat. But I'm sure you will never guess it. It's not what you think. Just like I mentioned, that networking parties, whatever, they're not the best. But actual thinking outside of the box and out of every situation, just make it business and try to genuinely meet someone. Try to help. Always bring my network, my connections, and I help them without wanting anything in return. And guess what? Then they talk themselves. That's the best marketing. You know, you help someone lose 100 pounds, everybody will ask him, "Oh, who was your trainer?" Right? You don't need to say anything. That's thinking outside the box. Sauna. We met a bank owner in sauna. That's good. My best friend of mine had a very interesting high-end ski resort. It was a good one there, but it wasn't a grocery store. No, it was actually a funeral, believe it or not. And it was very calm. Everybody was, super chill. It was like 11 p.m., 11 a.m. And it's not that you're gonna meet someone and do business tomorrow. All the people that I met, the recommendations I built for 3 or 4 years, even more. So it takes time. Everything worthwhile doing takes a lot of time. So pay to play is always the best. If you are those 5-figure masterminds, you'll meet powerful people. If you are a World Economic Forum, in Switzerland, you're gonna meet very good people in terms of business. If you are on Formula One in Monaco, you're gonna meet billionaires. If you are in Dubai, in that Atlantis cigar lounges, you're gonna meet someone who knows a thing or two in life. So ask yourself always, okay, where I'm going, who are the people that I want to spend my time with the rest of my life? What are they doing when they're waking up? Go to the gym. For me, that's the biggest hack. Go to the gym either 6 a.m. or 11 a.m. Those are only two times at work. And if someone can guess why, drop it in the chat. Why 6 a.m. in the gym and why 11 a.m.? Only those two are power hours. The rest is pretty much after. If you go to the gym from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., then I don't know. I have bad news for you. You should unfriend me on Facebook. Then that's brutal. Body optimization, I don't think so. To get it out the way first thing of the day makes sense. I go to bus. Yeah. Well, the 6 a.m. is all the CEOs and executives. They wake up early, they get it over with, they have light exercise, and they just bounce. So they're not, grunting, they're not doing some crazy things that are gonna really take their energy from the rest of the day. So that's one, around 6 a.m. And 11 a.m., it's where all the business owners go, because ask yourself, who can go at 11 a.m.? Who can afford? 9-to-5ers cannot afford it. They're working all day, plus traffic, plus this, plus that. So they cannot be there. So the business owners are there, trophy wives, some IT guys, nomad guys, people that can actually help you and you can help them. So, and also always go on weekends. So that this is also the pro tip. Never do chest on Monday, because every program starts with chest on Monday. And always do Saturdays and Sundays, because who is going on Saturdays and Sundays? The people who are not partying and clubbing. So people who have good habits, just like I mentioned, success leaves clues. So if they're working and investing on themselves, they're tracking their body, they have, already a few green flags. So they're going to help you down the road tremendously. Hope that answers your question. If you have any other specific questions, feel free to ask. Who's next? Drop in the chat your question or raise your virtual hand so we can chat for a bit. Since you're here, there are so many catchy headlines. So I mean, I will definitely ask someone. There is in this room and in any room, there's always someone who knows something that you don't, and your mission is to get it from them. Something that's gonna tremendously help you along your journey. So if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Always ask. It's always better to do something than not to do it and have that kind of regret. So what didn't you like about the presentation? What was boring? What was what are some of the things that you don't agree with? So it's an open floor. Feel free to always add a comment. We're here to chat. So Mr. Sean, oh, nice to see you. I'll pin you. Boom.
It wasn't. Thanks for pinging me. It wasn't something that I didn't like. It was actually just another question. Considering like you're a pretty young guy, and like just like hearing your story and all the stuff that like all the experiences that you've had and you've acquired, like what were kind of like how did you build like those habits in terms of really putting yourself in those positions to make that happen?
Great question. Well, I really set myself, as I like to say, for success, the right way. And it was success or nothing. When I really draw the line in the sand in my own life, that was the heaviest moment when I dropped out of the university after second year. And I said to myself and to the whole world, hey, and I really meant it. And I still mean it today. Okay, I'm going to die out of hunger in the street, but I'm not going back. That 9 to 5 isn't for me. I'm going to do everything that's in my power. I'm going to burn all the boats. And I'm not saying it's right for everyone. At this moment, it's always cool to show the finger to the boss and make something crazy. It's it's cool for the moment, but that's what I did, and I think it's necessary when you see all the world champions in any sport. You don't have plan B, plan C, plan D. They have only plan A. You also have NVIDIA's CEO. He was a dishwasher in 1987 and then CEO of NVIDIA. That's it. So have your focus more narrowed down. And I told everyone, and I think that's one of the biggest differences. I said to the world and to myself, hey, my goal is to really build wealth, to make money. And if I fail, I failed, but I gave it my all. And that's my goal. And it still is. And a lot of people, they have that limiting belief and they don't want to challenge themselves. They say, money is not everything in the world. I want to have peace of mind, this and that. They want to, but at the end of the day, they're still going to do a job they don't really like that much. They're still, operating on someone else's terms or doing extra hours or working with some clients that are not ideal. So if they had the money, they didn't have to, do that in that case. So that would be number one. Having mentors, and for me, also what I found out, around 35% of the all CEOs in the Inc. 5000 companies, they all have military, fitness, or martial arts background. So that's mandatory. I'm fortunate enough to have right now, I think it's my 10th year in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It really helped me tremendously. So that's the hidden weapon. It will help you with your body, your mind. You'll meet super good people with character, with tenacity. They're going to help you grow, and you're going to build your network that well as well. Whenever I go from Estonia to Frankfurt, Istanbul, like all around the world, whenever I go, I always have few friends there. And that's my power. So always ask. Also, to answer your question, whenever you see, for example, I'm making a podcast next month with Tony Robbins' sales manager, good friend of mine. I helped Alex Formosi's sales manager to help him with the. I connected him with the #1 guy in the world for podcasts, so he can connect you with everyone, you know. And always ask yourself, what can I do? Busy people, rich people, they don't have time. Okay, you have the time, use that. Be a driver if you're young. Okay, hey, I'll drive you around, I'll do your errands. You just teach me a bit. This is that classic Rich Dad Poor Dad story. So go with that and find what are your goals, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what runs in your family. Are there sports guys? You have talent for music. Where are they good? Where are they not good? And see that. Probably you have the same talents. They're going to help you as well. And just invest. Okay, who is winning? Who is the best? I'll join the band. Plain and simple. You know, that's how it goes. Always try to over deliver. Always connect people. Hey, from my circle, my best man from wedding, he's a dentist for royal family. Hey, I have a guy, he's needing something. Boom, connect them. That's it. With nothing, wanting nothing in return. And you just start from there. And then you're gonna see how easy it is to give value and how people can sense if you really want something from them or just genuinely helping out. So that's gonna open so many doors for you. I was a little bit broad all around the place, but I hope I did answer your question. If you have any more specific question, feel free to ask that as well. Or you know everything, yeah, Sean?
Nah, it's just I'm just on the spot here. You know, you shared with so much things and you know, kind of got some homework to do. Um, is there any place I could find like pretty much where do you find those questions to really ask yourself when it comes to like the reflecting aspect? Like how did you come up with those questions?
Well, I invested a lot of money, like a brand new sports car, you know, and in all kinds of masterminds. And when I was working with all those biggest companies, I had access to all of their mentors, their CEOs, you know, and they all operate on almost identical system. If it's
Hmm.
not broken, don't fix it. 80-20 principle. What is your focus? Cut the slack. Always be grateful. Just manage everything, you know, on a daily and weekly basis. When you manage things, it can be improved or done. That's also one of the best and biggest difference between successful and unsuccessful people. Successful people, they act emotionally. When they speak with all they're just describing things without numbers. And successful people are concise. They guard their presence and they speak with numbers. They just measure things and they're brutally honest with themselves and with the world. They don't care if they hurt someone. They just move along. That's why, like I said, martial arts, army, and everything helps. It just builds you that system, builds you the discipline, the iron will, and people cannot shake you. You know, if your bar of tolerance, you know, your pain threshold is up here, and you have task that's over here, then it's nothing. Then you cannot burn out. You have people who are having 10x, you know, 20 times problems than you're having right now. How can you feel then something? When I spoke with some family friend, they have, I don't know, 300 employees, you know, they have trains, they're doing with government, doing some insane businesses, you know, and they have some expenses, they're in millions. And now I have, you know, a few thousand, you know, dollar problem and I'm feeling bad. And I heard what they're having. How can I feel bad then? You know, like I'm nobody compared to them. And that's a good thing. Keep you in check. So you see what's possible, they motivate you. And then you don't have right to complain because they have so many bigger problems, but then they're still operating on a high level. So the thing is just to move forward, whatever it is, whatever situation is there. So it's always the same. Everything's free, everything's on YouTube. You have Alex Ramosi give everything for free, TEDx speakers, you know, public speaking, fitness, like whatever you imagine, it's on YouTube or on Google. But still people don't have results. Why? Because people don't respect things they don't fight for when they're not committed 100%. So you need to only focus on a few things that you want to do and go 100% in. Burn all the bridges. That's how you're definitely going to succeed. That's what I found out really works for people. And always, whenever you don't know someone, ask who's the best one, who's the mentor, who has been there, done that, who's going to save me time, because poor people think in money and rich people think in time. Time is the biggest currency because you cannot get more of time. You get more money, but you cannot get more time. So who's going to save me 5 years, 3 years, 6 months? If you do everything by yourself, it's going to take you so much time, energy, resources, and still at the end of the day, you're not going to do a good job. When you're buying a phone, you don't try to build a phone from scratch yourself, right? You see who's the best, you buy a phone. When you buy a car, buy an apartment building, anything, at every point in your life, it's always the same, because time is the biggest test. If someone's been in business for 10, 20, 30 years, they know a thing or two. It's super hard to stay that long with a business. You need to do right things. And now the Google reviews, you can see who was there, who's been that. You see who follows who on Instagram. So if someone's doing a good job and he's also in high level circles, he's there for a reason. Real recognize real.
Yeah. I'll just ask you one last thing, because
No,
I mean, I feel like
the more the
pick your
better,
brain.
man. Like, don't also to go back to the question. My friend June, when I made a podcast with him, he was also the one who was on big in-person workshops, and he put himself on the spot. Everybody was in the crowd, but only a few people raise hand. Only a few people are challenged. So the more times you do it, the better it is. You're going to differentiate yourself even more. You could be today, I don't know, watching some BS stuff or on the internet, doing whatever you want, some TV show, but you are here in a very small group to really work on yourself, because no one else will. And you're in an even smaller group from people who actually stood out and asked questions. So only by that you're miles ahead of other people. So the more you go that way, just see what the crowd is doing and do different things. Everybody's operating out of fear, out of some super basic logic, out of something. Just because if you follow them, you're gonna get the same result. But if you want extraordinary result, you need to do things differently, with different leverage, different proximity, and different people that have that vision. They're thinking in years and decades, not in days.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you gotta make the most out of, like, if you're already here and you want to, like, get some insights, you have to speak up, right? Closed mouths don't get fed, so, like, you have to speak up. I just wanted to ask here, because obviously, I don't know if you hit the jackpot on the first spin, but pretty much I wanted to ask, when it came to just kind of finding your way to, like, success to where you're at, was there multiple things you tried? And if it wasn't the case, like, when did you know, okay, maybe it's time for me to pivot in, like, a different direction? Like, kind of like, pretty much what I'm asking is, like, when, well, yeah, well, I'll let you answer that.
I know what you're meaning. It's excellent question, $1 million question. So when is the time to to call it a day and to focus your shift on some other project, industry, relationship, whatever it is? That's a great question. At the beginning, it's hard to tell. And I did spend way more time on something, believing in some projects even more than I should. And it was a risk to take, and I would still do it again. Depends on your level. When someone's young, I tell them, okay, shoot your shot. Now it's time to have those startups. Now it's time, because you don't have anyone that's depending on you. Really, really give it your all. Of course, now when you're 30s, 40s, and after, now maybe it's not okay. You can have a side project and wait until it really scales, until you go full on that. And that's why it's great to have your friends and your mentors, or some consultants, coaches, psychologists, depending on the matter, who can really tell you from their perspective, and really have few of them tell you and why they're telling you that. So what are they seeing that you're not? When we have some basketball or football game, it's so much easier when we're watching from the TV to call a tactical core play and to tell what is it. But it's much harder when you're actually in there, the adrenaline and so many informations to actually know what to do. So it's always that. All the biggest companies, they hire consultants. you're doing revision, they're having contractors, someone else from the system in order to refresh them, you know. So that's the thing. It's trial and error, and having someone else to help you out, and also put everything on paper. Okay, how much time, energy, money, emotions have I invested into this? What is the industry average? Where am I hoping? What are the other party saying? Are they just saying this to me and doing other things otherwise? Or what is the deal there? And you need to put everything on paper, and then when you have the clear decision, just go with it, no matter how painful it is, because you'll every day there is some other tasks, something else to do. So if you leave loose ends, it's gonna backfire in the long run so much. So always move fast.
Okay.
Hope I answered your question to the fullest. And that's the thing. Everybody wants to. That's also what I found. Everybody wants to ask for some opinion about anything. I'm not saying it's you, but generally people, so they can have a way out. Hey, if they told me to do it, you know, it's not my fault. So whatever you do, you know, whether it's a doctor, a business consultant, mentor, at the end of the day, you draw the line when you have all those 5-10 opinions, and you draw the line and you call it a shot, because it's your responsibility, it's your reward, and if you lose, you lose. So they're doing just their part, and they're paid for that small part of what they're doing. So you are the main actor in your movie. So don't let anyone steal the spotlight.
Oh, I love that, man. Thank you. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. Anyone else before we wrap it up? Anything else that haven't been covered? Oh, we have one in the chat. Yeah, when they flow me out around the world, and pretty much with all those big companies, how I got the room and the position is from my network, my references. I start from the bottom on the world-class company, so I can have it in my portfolio and CV. And I think 6 months ago, one gentleman that sold his company for $800 million, he sent me an iMessage requesting Zoom with me one-on-one. That's always nice to do, because when we spoke, we know 50 people that were my mentors and his mentors in the same time. So we click like this, you know, it's so easy. But it took me, you know, my whole life to get there. So it takes a lot. So whenever I spoke with everything, it was on the business / revenue generating activity with it. And what are your top 1 to 3 books that have helped you to be where you are today? That's a great question. I always ask my mentors and my friends about the books, things that really help them. And it comes down to do old books, simple books that are evergreen. Obviously, I would say Bible. I would say Robert Greene has great books. It's more about the author, because if the author is good, he has all of his books are world class. Robert Greene, 40 Laws of Power and 33 Strategies of War, but concise versions. Those are excellent. Atomic Habits, must have. What else comes to my mind in terms of everything from Jim Rohn and Napoleon Hill? Jim Rohn is my favorite. He has a lot of webinars still. They're old, but he's a mentor of Tony Robbins. It's 95% the same things. It's evergreen, you know, and it's really when you start implementing all the things, you'll be fascinating how life can change. Hardship and come on top. Oh, that's a great question. Always ask yourself, what is this situation trying to teach me? How I ended up here? What's the way out? All of the successful people throughout the history, when they were in my situation, what they did differently. So it's very simple, but it's not easy. There are 2 different terms. See what you want, what is the price to pay, and then at the end of the day, just pay it or don't. Don't think about it, you know. Is it the body that you want, the relationships, location where do you want to live? Okay, is it too much, too little? Well, where is it? Okay, then it's too much. I don't want to waste time there. And then okay, and then focus what you can do. The best way to eat an elephant is 1 piece at a time. So break down your life goals, your yearly goals into daily steps. So if it's not in your Google Calendar, it doesn't exist. And they'll be all. So it's always gonna. It's how you make it. It's 90% of it is how you respond to the external factor. 5% is how, you know, the actual thing. So just think about yourself. When you were in high school, you know, $10, $50, $100 was, you know, some kind of money for you. But now it's nothing, you know, when you were 5 years old, you know. Your currency was chocolate and toys, you know. Now we have just more expensive toys, and that's it. It's the same system, just on a bigger scale, bigger level, bigger leverage. And ask yourself always, 5-10 years from now, if this won't be worth mentioning, don't stress about it, because you don't have anything from stress, no benefits. What is it that you have from it? Nothing. You're just procrastinating in disguise. People are taught to feel bad. If they feel good, you know, like how dare you feel good, you know, nowadays. You should feel good, definitely. If you're not feeling healthy, strong, good. Also, one of the things that I can cover is how I was always sick when I was young, and the last 10 years I'm never sick. How to operate on a superhuman level, because you are on that upward spiral. If you're doing one good habit, second, third, one good habit is attaching a new one. Same as the bad habits. If you go late to sleep, if you watch reels, eat fast food, watch Netflix, you wake up late, you don't have energy, you're responding to people, to the external world, you know, and one bad thing is coming to another. Compared, when you invest in yourself, you go to sauna, you have a meal prep, you have a personal trainer, read a book, you're doing your grounding, EMF mats, whatever it is, work on yourself, do a charity work, whatever, you know, boom, boom, boom. You're gonna meet good people along the way. And in the 5 years from now, it's gonna be complete day and night in results. So it's all the boring, unsexy work that's in the background, that laying brick by brick. Just staying positive and motivated, doing the boring work. That's 90% of the whole things. Always ask a mentor. You have a problem, ask your friend. Ask yourself, what's the wisest move on the chessboard from here? What can I do? What's on me? Just do what's on you, give it your all, and feel good, and go to sleep with no regrets. That's the recipe. People want to take all of the world's problem on their shoulders. Like, don't focus on that. Everybody wants to save the world. First, save yourself, your family, then your neighborhood, and then go from it. Don't do the other way around. You won't like it. Any other questions? So once again, go to the doc link in the chat, read it through, DM me your thoughts about the Zoom, fill out the form at the end. And I have a lot of things prepared for 2026. The question is always, how bad do you want it? And who's going to stop you? It's not who's going to let you, it's who is going to stop you with whatever you're doing. So I want to leave it with that. You're welcome. This is just the beginning. I don't want to bombard you with so many information. I just want to give it a little spark so you can think in a different direction. And it's on you now to really work day by day, week by week, so you can be the best version of yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll be enough for today. Truly appreciate your support, and I'll be seeing you in the next week. Take care. God bless.